Hello friends, welcome back. Today we're going to talk creative journaling slash art journaling slash sketchbooks. And let me scoot back a little. I've got my pile of things that I want to share with you here. No, there's no composition notebook in this stack, but that's because I don't do creative journaling in my morning mindset pages. I do that in these currently. Will these always be the ones that I use? No. I have used many things over the years. This is just what I'm in now and loving, and this is what is working for me. And I kind of want to share a little bit. Let's talk about this. This is my art journal, and it is a happy planner, a ring bound happy planner. You can see it is the typical, it's got the planner stuff in it. I converted it into an art journal. So as you'll see, and let me just start by saying a lot of these most of these images that you're gonna see, just like this rabbit and this watercolor, I believe this was also from her. I'm a Patreon of Courtney Diaz, Little Raven Ink, I believe, here on YouTube. She is amazing. I love her style. So a lot of the images and things that are in here are actually from being a Patreon of her. And so with her Patreons, she calls us inkies, collage sheets and printables, and they're just gorgeous. I love her artwork. They're just stunning. So that's what I started with. So a lot of the things that you'll see that's covered up, like that is one of her images. Do you guys realize we have, by the time this video goes up, literally like a little over 100 days until 2021. So what this art journal is inspired by is the last 100 days. The last 100 days of 2020. And that is what I kind of hinted at creating a new PhD in my last video. I've created a new PhD for the last 100 days. And if you are not familiar what I'm talking about, I will post the video all about my PhD, the way I use PhDs and all of that below. It's also in my book, The Wild Sexy Life Chick. I walk you through creating your own PhD there. But this is my PhD last 100 days art journal, creative journal, right brain planner, whatever you want to call it. So it is focused around my word for the year, which is awakening. And I've called it Awakening She, a PhD for the last, at the time, it was 120 days. But now I'm down, I think 108 days today by the time this goes up. So what I've done is there's a folder here. I have not printed out my full PhD program just yet, but that will go in here. These are my top 10 visions and aspirations and intentions for the 100 days to make it amazing. And if you notice, I've got September, October, November, and December. So I kept the tabs. That way, everything that I do in here in September will be tabbed September. And the way that I work is very much like I work in my comp books, front to back, back to front. These pages, this one is done. I mean, you can see a lot of words. This one's done. But then this one, it might be done, but it might not. When I did this came later, and this came later. So I work in it nonstop until I feel, here's another page, another gorgeous Courtney Diaz image from Patreon. These are all Courtney Diaz images, the Fave 5. And so I work in it. Let me show you another example. So I leave Saturday. I'm running away with Christine. You guys all know her. We are getting together for another The Mountain is Calling retreat, and I will post that hashtag up in next week's video because she'll be here next week, and that way you guys can follow along. I think it's going to be hashtag The Mountains Are Calling retreat. I think that's what it's going to be, but we might add a 2020 to the end of that. I don't know. But you can already look at that hashtag on Instagram and see, I think it was 3 years ago that we did our first Mountain is Calling retreat. And it's basically just two friends getting together in the mountains for hygge and like quiet and reading and journaling, and not so much focused on art as in our art lockdowns. But, you know, to me, everything in this journal is all about wellness. So to me, my Mountain is Calling retreat is a wellness retreat. So I did a little, this was inspired by Bree from Documented Journey, which I have a whole thing to talk about with her, or about her. She is like the most amazing woman. Let me just start there. And as I get into sketching, I will talk a little bit more about Bree. She is the sweetest person. Let me just tell you. Courtney Diaz inspired me to get back into art journaling. I had taken a lot of time off, and so the art life was kind of peaked with Courtney Diaz and her Patreon and her style, because I'm a very whimsical kind of, like, that's the kind of style that I'm attracted to and that I love to create. And then I started getting into sketching, and when I think of sketching, I think of Bree, Documented Journey. She is like the most amazing sketch artist. I love her work. I love her journals. I have one coming that I can't wait to show you guys. One of her folios. And yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but so she has inspired me to dig into sketching every day. We actually have a hashtag on Instagram, hashtag Documented Dailies. If you want to follow along, she has inspired me to draw something every day, to sketch something every day. And I was just so, it was just so sweet of her to have a conversation with me. And this conversation went on for a while about sketching and getting out of my own head. And she's just an amazing human being. So if you guys aren't following her on YouTube, I will post her channel down below. If you're into sketching or want to be, she's the one to inspire you. But anyways, on here, I started my little packing list and photos that I want to take, a photo walk. And this is Courtney Diaz, sponsor a walk, and I put a photo walk. This is one of the things I want to do with Christine while we're in the mountains. And I mean, it's all messy, and I keep coming back. Like, this one is obviously not done, but I will continue to scribble things in the margins, maybe draw something. I don't know. I use junk mail. So like, this is from something we got in the mail. I use scraps, and this, I haven't finished it, but this I drew Mr. Megorium from Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium, one of my all-time favorite movies. I watched that again for like the third time with my children and took notes and quotes from the movie, because that is part of wellness for me. Wellness is being childlike and believing in magic and seeing the wonder. And that's like, if you have not seen that movie, can I just put that out there? It is free right now on HBO Max if you are subscribed there. If not, it's totally worth buying. It's amazing. I don't know what truck has just decided to pull down our driveway, but sorry about that. So anyways, this is what I'm using as an art journal. I'm loving it because you can literally take things out and put them back in. So if there are pages that you don't like, you can just take them out. You can just, you know, and move them around and piece it together however you want. So I'm loving this. The first time I've ever worked in a ring bound planner. I did redo the cover. Let me show you. The cover looked like this. Big goals. My friend Elizabeth Mann helped me figure out she inspired me to redo the cover. And so this is what the cover currently looks like. Loving it. Okay, let's continue talking about Documented Journey and Bree. Bree, once again, inspired me to start sketching rather than just using other people's work, because my dream has always been to sketch and create my own collage papers and use those in my journal. And I started doing that this month, and I have loved the process like none other. I think part of the reason that I'm inspired now is I do have a married daughter, and one day I will have grandkids. And one of my dreams is to do art with my grandkids, to sit around a table and splatter watercolor and be like, what do you think that looks like? And let's turn it into an animal or a person or whatever. So I want to hone in on my sketching. So I pulled out, I love this thing. You guys have seen it before if you've been following me for a while here on YouTube. This is my Galen leather zipper folio, I think is what it's called. It's an A5. Love it. I believe the last time I showed you I was planning on using this as a journal. This is my sketchbook and it works perfectly. I love the size of it. This is my traveler's notebook, Midori traveler's notebook in camel. Guys, this had a pen thingy, and I don't mind that it like has the mark there, but I didn't like the pen on it. The pen on it, so I took it off. Currently, I'm using a cheapie insert from Michael's. I think I got a pack of 4 for like $3, and the paper's horrible. Let me just tell you that. I have learned, and I will flip through some of these pages, I've learned that paper matters more than materials. So I'm definitely moving out of this and into something different for my next insert. I will finish this. I think I have 2 more pages. Yes, I have 2 more pages left to go, and you will see. I take notes too on sketching and things. This was the first thing I did. I splattered watercolor and tried to turn it into an animal. This was very much inspired by Courtney Diaz. But here's the thing, and this is what's great about my chat with Bree. Everyone is different. We all have a different style. Even if we don't think we do, it will come out. We will learn the materials we love. And once you find them, you stick with them and you hone in on them and you become an expert in those materials. Bree from Documented Journey is very much a pencil and ballpoint pen fan. And so I love her work. I have realized I am not a ballpoint pen fan. And I realized that kind of throughout. So here's what I have started to do. And I didn't realize it until I started to do it. I started by drawing something every day. So I drew my diffuser. And then I had already splattered, like you can see, let's turn to the last pages that I've not sketched on. Some bleed through. And I only do it on one side, FYI. This is what I start with. And then I draw something from my day. So on this day I drew a diffuser. And then I just can't help myself. I turned her into a whimsical woman. And I love it. This is very much my personal style. Now, some of these I hate. I did a fly swatter because flies are really bad here right now in North Carolina. And speaking of flies, I got my fly swatter here. Drew the fly swatter, turned it into a woman, did not like the woman at all. So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do with that later. I did a little cutesy rocking chair. I didn't like that very much. Love her. She's one of my favorites. I started by drawing something from my day, which we have hanging on the side of a window. And then once again, my whimsical rebel softness girls is what I call them, came out, and it continues. This is an image on my comic book journal minus the face. Turned it into a whimsical rebel softness woman. And I'm also giving them titles. So like this one is She the Journaler because it was associated with my journal. This one has not been colored in yet, but this I drew my Pentel Click Eraser and then turned it into a woman. And this is She Who Needs an Eraser because let me just tell you, I need an eraser. I use eraser a lot. And so forth. I drew my coffee cup. The coffee cup I love. Don't like her at all. This is She with Italian coffee on the brain because I miss Italy. This, I drew my wood stove. And this is She Who Dreams of Winter because I am totally a fall and winter girl. And so you can see how my style is kind of like evolving. Some of them I hate. Some of them I love, this is one of my favorites. This I will probably put on the cover of my next insert. This, I participated in, what's it called? Flowers Your Way, I think, on Instagram. They post a flower every other day for people to draw, and you do it your own way. And I loved that. So that's what I drew that day, and then turned her into a woman. And I'm just loving watching the process evolve. I have still not gotten there. I've still not figured out what exactly I love. This is She Whose Love Language is Gifts. That's my mailbox turned into a woman. Yeah, so it is a process, a trial and error process. So I'm going to continue using these silly flies. I'm going to continue using this as my sketchbook because I love the size. And I have, let me just show you. So in here, this sits here, I zip it up. So anytime I need to sketch, this is everything I need. This is everything I need to sketch right here. And this is what it looks like. This is a picture of my babies from a couple years ago. And it has everything I need for my sketching. And I will show you my favorite products here that I have. This is really cool because this pulls out. So if you just want your pens, you can pull it out and stick it back in. That's probably gonna be harder to do with one hand. In here I have what I'm moving to next because this Michael's cheapo is not working. Like, it bleeds through and I'm very frustrated. As you can see, I mean, like it's just not. And so what I'm doing next, I have two things. I think I'll probably go to this next. This is a insert that's, I think it's 013 from Traveler's Company. And it is the thin paper. I think this is Tomoe River paper. And I've already watercolored some of the pages, but I also want to leave some blank because I want to play outside my, I don't know, I didn't want, this one I went ahead and watercolored everything, and I wanted to leave myself some permission to try sketching outside of my comfort zone and creating women outside of my comfort zone, not just around the watercolored spots. Now, I may go back to this because I'm very much, you guys know, a watercolor splatter kind of girl. So I have that tucked in, I don't know. So I have that tucked into this little spot. And then I have this. I will probably, these stupid flies, I will probably move to this next. This is, I basically took 6 pages out of this. And this was, the reason I chose this specific paper is it has been recommended by Tamara Laporte. Is that her name? Willowing here on YouTube. I believe her name is Tamara Laporte, but I could be wrong. I will put her YouTube channel down below. She is an amazing, whimsical artist. Honestly, I feel like I want to combine the sketching and the whimsical. Tamara, I see her very similar, not similar, they're completely different. But she inspires me in ways that, like Courtney Diaz, with all the colors and the whimsical and all of that. And then Bree is very much encouraging me to sketch from real life. And so I want to kind of merge the two. But Willowing, I'll just say Willowing because I'm not sure if I have her first name right. She recommends hot pressed watercolor paper that is at least 30 grams, 140 pounds, 30 grams. So I went ahead and got a pad and tore out 6 sheets. And honestly, let me tell you, I know this drives some people crazy. Let me take out this insert, but it doesn't bother me. And let me just show you, I have tied the bookmark that comes inside the Traveler's Notebook to the back because I'm not using the bookmark, and it gets zipped up in my folio. This is how I'm gonna use it. I know that the overhang, that it doesn't actually like fit. I don't have it stapled or bound because, and that's what I'm gonna go to next. But I love the way it looks. It doesn't bother me. And it's literally going to sit right here and get zipped up. So it's not like I'm carrying it out alone. I only pull this out when I want to sketch, and I can open it and sketch. And it will stay in place. So I think I'm gonna move to that next, just so I can work with my materials on better paper, because I really want to see what kind of materials I actually love, but I feel like trying that on the cheapo paper is just not working for me. So I have stuck that in the back also. And now let me show you the pens that I have in my Galen leather folio. Take that out. Okay, the pens I have my two favorite pencils that I sketch with. This one you guys might recognize because it is a Pentel Energel, but it's actually Pentel Energize. It's the pencil. And because I love the Energel so much, I think, I don't know, I just have a soft spot for the way that it feels, because it feels just like a Pentel Energel. And I got it in 0.7, but then I also have, and I do love this pencil, this is the Graph Gear, the Pentel Graph Gear 0.9 for sketching. And so I usually sketch with that, if I'm completely honest, but I love, 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 and feel so, this one just feels so cozy because of the Pentel Energels. I have an eraser, you guys saw that, the Pentel Clicker Eraser. Then I do have a ballpoint pen. I love this. This will probably be moving to my my book that I'm going to be getting from Bree. She's sending me a folio that I'm having made. And so that will probably go with that. I adore the way this writes. I got it on Amazon, inspired by her. The link is on her Amazon. She has like an Amazon list that you can purchase some of her favorite tools. Love it. But I realize I'm not a ballpoint pen for art kind of girl, but I still have that in here because I do occasionally use it. Also, I have the Posca Black, very fine, I think it's extra fine, 0.7 millimeter, bullet shaped, I believe it's extra fine pen. It writes like acrylic, and so I love tracing over my drawings with that. And then I also, along those same lines, love this pen so much, the Uniball Air, for going back over and adding details to my sketches. And that is everything, right? Yeah. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would love to know, are you art journaling? Have you done any creative planning? What do you want for the next 100 days? Why not start an art journal? Because I feel like planners are one thing, but when you grab a color or when you sketch, it opens up a whole new side of your brain, like a whole new world for healing and for creativity. Highly recommend. Grab yourself some tools. They don't have to be expensive. Grab a pencil, and sketch something. I hope this inspired you guys to create something, and I look forward to chatting with you guys next week. Until next time, enjoy your wild, sexy life.